All right, what is good, everybody? Quancredible here after a break from the chapters last week. We are here again with Four Nights of Apocalypse, chapter 27. In this chapter, titled Master and Pupil, I don't think the title really fit all like that to me. It just seemed like it was loosely about Hauser and more about Edlin. But crazy reveal at the end of all this. Really hype. Can't wait to get into it. But in the beginning, right where we had left off with them in the middle of the bar, surrounded by everyone. This is after Annie and Percival have been knocked out. And basically, we get all of the full details on the bandit gang. Basically, it's like they said, or like we found out last chapter that they are, taking base in this, quote unquote town to rob anybody, and also rob Holy Knights before they even get a chance to, apprehend them for doing this. So I mean, all in all, it's a pretty I don't want to use the word smart, but it's an idea that makes sense. And then here we have like a drunken cry from Hauser, saying that like just because they stole his weapons and his horse and all that, that's not enough to take him down. He is Holy Knight's captain, and even Nanson's is kind of like impressed by how he's not flinching or not wavering in this position. But then after that, Hauser like passes out. He just falls straight back. And Edlin basically, he's like, I know exactly how much you can drink, seeing as how many times I've carried you back home from the tavern, which actually makes a lot of sense. I was like really pumped up for Hauser to like do something in this exact moment, but at the same time, it makes sense because then this arc will be over like super fast. So it all makes sense in the end. But after this, they are about to like capture Annie and Percival and Nancy. This is why like Nancy is easily becoming one of my favorites. Like I'd already liked him a little bit like already, but after this, he's like, because when he didn't get drunk, he figured out they're a plan, and then right when everybody's about to get taken, he does his Misty Rain that like knocks out everybody in the room except for Edelyn for whatever reason. I guess Edelyn is more resistant than your average everyday grunt, and it's just so dope because Danson's he's that calm, cool guy in the group that doesn't get affected by all that dumb stuff like everybody else, and that's always like a fun character to me. But essentially, he's basically like, oh, I'm just gonna take my friends and leave. And then somehow Edelyn has Percival, but then when Nansen turns around, he doesn't have Percival, and then this is when Nansen gets captured. And it makes you wonder like what his magic ability is, or what his ability is, because like on one hand, he could just be really fast and just would have grabbed Percival and then like actually put him back, but that just doesn't quite sound right. That sounds like that's just doing too much. I think he has like some type of illusionary based power where maybe he can just craft illusions out of nothing, or he can transform something he's holding to look like something else, which like would make it, pretend or imitate to be Percival. Maybe one of those things, which I think could be interesting considering that Hauser's two apprentices had abilities that weren't exactly combat oriented, initially. It would seems kind of very interesting if that was what it would be. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards it. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards it being, honestly. So then we flash back to like probably shortly after this event with Donnie outside, just kind of thinking about what happened, thinking about how he always runs away from Hauser. And this is when Edelyn comes out to greet him or just to talk to him. And at first, it's kind of a semi-happy reunion, Donnie's curious on if he's on a training adventure with Hauser, or training journey, I should say. And Edelyn's asking, how's the life with being, a traveling entertainer. It's almost like they're just kind of catching up. And this is when Edelyn does tell him that he isn't trying to be a holy knight anymore, and he has like a better job that makes more money and all that other kind of stuff. It's just easier and it's better. To which Donnie's like, that doesn't seem like you, which makes me think that Edelyn before this was probably really hardworking, really diligent, really like by the books kind of guy. He wasn't probably like how he is now, trying to take the easy way and rob people. And Donnie even notes that it was like a big dream of his to be a holy knight, so it just seems odd that he would leave it behind. But he basically does try to loop Donnie into his racket of basically being a highwayman, as Donnie put it, to like trap travelers and holy knights and just basically steal all of their stuff. And Donnie's like, nah, I'm not really trying to get into all that. I just want to get my friends and I want to get out of here. Donnie's not really about any of that. Because Donnie's not really a bad guy at heart. Even though he did try to rob Percival, which makes his character questionable, Donnie, at his heart, is not a bad dude. But when Donnie tries to leave, saying he's gonna go back to his friends, Edelyn tells him that like we captured and taken all of your friends, which is kind of like this makes Donnie snap a little bit, like, hey, if you mess with my friends, I'm not just gonna take that, like, so chill out. Like, Donnie basically tells him to chill out. And then Donnie also notes how different he is, to which Ellen says he isn't different, he just found his destiny. And then we flash over to everyone else getting thrown in a cell, or like a jail cell type thing, after they probably got all of their belongings taken and all of that. And it's so funny right here because they have the grunts have the dragon handle. They assume it's junk and they throw it back in there. Like, they literally throw it back in to the cell, and it bounces off of Percival. So, like, this is basically setting up Percival to use the dragon handle with his hero type magic, forming something on the handle of the sword. I made a video about what's going to happen to the dragon handle sword. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. But I feel like this is literally setting up for that, for Percival to get it or to use it in some way, shape, or form, which is kind of exciting. And we do get confirmation here, Hauser is impressed that Nansen's isn't drunk at all, and Nansen basically goes on to explain, how alcohol is a poison. He has tried it, and his ability does neutralize poisons inside of him. So basically, Nansen can never get drunk with his magical ability, which is what we had. We basically assumed that we talked about it when it was happening. So we got the confirmation there that was the case. We also got this old dude saying that he's going to break them out. And it's crazy because I didn't know who this old dude was, even though he said he knew who Hauser was. And it turns out that it's Taizo, or Tazu, however you want to say his name. I say Taizo. It is Taizo from the Vasel Fight Festival. And it's crazy because, like, this is the randomest character to be here right now. I feel like this is so random. But basically, he does remember Hauser. He holds Hauser in high respects because Taizo does appreciate people who are very strong fighters and things along those lines. So he's going to bust him out. Which is interesting to me because even if he does bust him out, like, Hauser's still drunk, so it's like, what is he gonna do? I don't quite understand what a drunken Hauser is probably going to be able to do in this exact moment. But and then Percival's drunk too, so it's like everyone has huge nerfs right now. So I don't know, maybe since Percival's drunk, he'll get a better handle on his abilities, or maybe he'll learn something because he's thinking different. But Hauser, I'm not for sure exactly. He might be able to, like, sober up for one big thing, but we're just going to have to wait and see there. But Taizo is basically saying that he wants to help them escape because the town is getting ready to be razed. And they're like, raised by who? And then this is when we also flash back over to Edlin, and he's showing Donnie what he has now acquired, his new partner, and it is a literal giant dragon. It is a dragon. So, like, this definitely took a turn that no one predicted that there was going to be a giant dragon boss at the end of this. So honestly, I'm not for sure exactly how that they're going to deal with this right now, because I'm pretty sure Hauser, if he was like sober, could probably deal with this dragon by himself. But the fact that he's really drunk probably is probably gonna like hinder his ability to do so. And I don't know if Percival is quite able to take on this kind of threat yet. So it's just gonna be very interesting to see how this goes. I almost feel like the only way for it to happen is if they kind of make peace with this dragon or come to some sort of agreement. I don't really know if they're going to be able to beat it outright right now. I also wonder, is this dragon like they say it's an ancient dragon, but I wonder, is it one of those I want to say disaster dragons, I think it was called, in Seven Deadly Sins, because I don't think we ever got to actually see one, but they were referenced a couple times. Just something to think about there. But overall, this chapter was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. The reveal of this crazy dragon was really hype. Donnie potentially versus Edlin, maybe inbound next chapter, who knows. But yeah, I just thought it was a solid chapter with moving the story forward. So overall, I am actually pretty excited for the chapter for next week. I really cannot wait to see like where exactly this goes. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about the chapter down below. What you guys think is going to happen with the dragon? Do you think someone's going to be able to beat it, or are they just going to have to make peace with it, or what's going to go on with that? Also, the stuff with Percival and the dragon handle, is he actually going to use it in the coming chapters? Very curious about that. But make sure you guys leave a like on the video, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content coming up. Aside from that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.